Maybe it's me, but to be honest, budgeting doesn't make you become more richer. Okay? It can help you be in control of your finances, but I'd be lying to you if I say it's a way of increasing your wealth or building wealth. It only helps maintain it. I'm here to talk to you about that. Stay with me. Hi, I'm Miss McCarthy and welcome to my channel. I talk about personal finance, building wealth, money in general, and life without pretending that everything is just normal. If this is your first time here, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications bell so that you're notified every time I upload another new video. Now, budgeting. I want to talk about a few challenges that I personally have encountered because I'm a very strict, when it comes to budgeting, I'm very, very strict. Yeah. So this is to say, every month, every year, every week, every day, I have a budget for that. Okay. I always work under a budget. But let's just be honest with each other. Even me, I'm human. There's points where something happens and you end up breaking your budget. It can be because of an emergency or those moments you just decide, what the hell, YOLO, you only live once, and you go against your own rules. You break your own budget, right? So this is where most times you do the 80% correct. You're on track. And then for like 20 minutes, you decide something and you feel so unproductive. Especially when life happens, the bills, the emergencies, family needs, and things like exhaustion. All this while, as much as I was strict about budgeting, I would tell myself 10% or 20 minutes of me not feeling productive won't make a huge difference. But guess what? It did. But I came to realize that my problem was not discipline. Okay? It wasn't discipline. It was something else. It was my definition of budgeting. Because I got it all wrong, like most people do. Okay? Like my understanding of budgeting. So I'll give you a few reasons what I came to learn that made me fail when it came to budgeting. Okay? And as I said, budgeting focuses more on how you spend your money. Okay? It was about how I spent money that I made or that I had. So budgeting in itself was not a problem. It has never been a problem. The real problem I came to realize was having inconsistent income. Okay? Because if you have inconsistent income, no matter how hard you try to budget, you feel like you're heading nowhere. Okay? And this is because, let's face it, you can't squeeze wealth out of a situation with too little money flowing in. That just doesn't happen. You have to have like many sources of income, or at least a consistent income, so that you're able to build wealth or to grow financially. And before I came to know that, like a few years ago, I spent a lot of years, I spent a lot of time optimizing scarcity. I'm sure a lot of people still do that. That's like you rearranging furniture in a house on fire. What are you doing? Now, let me tell you what finally worked. Because now, when you find yourself in a cycle of something, you have to break that cycle. And for you to break out of it, it means you found a solution, right? So, let me share with you what finally worked. I started tracking 3 things instead. Number one, my income growth. I stopped perfecting my 50,000 Kenya shillings worth of income. Okay, whenever it grew, whatever it is that I was getting, let's say 100,000 Kenya shillings a month, whatever it was, I stopped perfecting it, because budgeting is about perfecting the amount of money that you receive, whether at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year. Okay, budgeting is trying to make sure everything falls into place. Instead, I started focusing on growing that amount of money that I receive at the end of the month. And this is because I learned an extra 10,000 Kenya shillings a month or 20,000 Kenya shillings a month can change my life faster than cutting coffee for, let's say, 6 months, right? So there's that. And then I started focusing on cash flow. I started tracking my cash flow. This is very simple because it just meant me tracking in how much is coming in and how much is going out. Okay, and trying to maintain a balance, or at least making sure whatever comes in is not equal to what goes out. It's easy. I didn't have even to use like complicated spreadsheets. This is simple math. And number 3, I started tracking financial leaks. I started looking at places where my money could be, areas my money could be leaking. Maybe things like subscriptions that I don't use. As a woman, a lot of us, we buy things out of emotions, convenience spending. That is actually going beyond our budget, and the extremes of impulse buying. So by tracking financial leaks, I was able to cover areas where I would end up spending thousands annually. Now, my 3-point reality check. Questions that I keep asking myself. 1, is my income growing? 2, is my debt shrinking? And 3, are my savings increasing? If I answer no to all 3, then it meant my budget was not the problem. It was my system. Okay. The issue was just my system. Now, here is what finally worked. Number 1, I had to have automatic savings. Automate some of my savings. Like, for instance, if I have an account somewhere, I automate. In Kenya, most of the banks, they tell you to go, have something they call a standing order. That's how they automate. Like, you decide a certain day of the month, let's say on 25th, when the money comes in, a certain amount is automatically slashed from your salary and is put away in a savings account or an investment account, emergency fund account, whatever it is that you tell them to do. Okay, they literally these systems follow your instructions. That way, there's automatic bill payments, there's automatic account updates, deposits. And especially if these deposits are in things like money market accounts, rates, or things like investment platforms, that's you increasing or multiplying your sources of income. creating multiple income streams. And one thing I learned about that is it helped me, especially when it came to decision making. There was less decision making because we are human. Sometimes we have decision paralysis because we're like, "Ah," and then something else comes up, and then and then the whole day you've not done anything, you've wasted time. So automating helps make decisions for us, or for me, for that matter. So I try to do more and more automation. And lastly, I needed to stop relying on motivation because motivation is unreliable. Systems over motivation. Okay? Well, it's good to stay motivated and all that stuff they keep telling you, but our system is better. And this is because you see, systems, they show up when you're feeling tired. Systems come through for you when you're feeling demotivated. Yeah? And as we all know, being tired, being bored, being demotivated is a norm, is a normal thing. Let me call it a regular guest in adulthood. Okay? So you cannot rely on motivation. Motivation will surely get you nowhere. That's just the honest, ugly truth. Huh? Budgeting, as much as I'm a budgeter, it didn't change my finances. But building more sources of income and creating systems did. Those are totally separate things. Once I built systems and built extra sources of income, that's the only time that money stopped feeling like an emergency to me every month. Because I used to panic every time, even if I was on a salary or even if I knew a certain amount, I would receive a certain amount of money at a certain time. It's no matter how hard I tried to budget, it still wasn't enough. Because the problem wasn't budgeting. The solution was me creating more sources of income. We all have that illusion of control, especially when you have a budget. I did. Because with a budget, you keep telling yourself this month will be different. This time, it's going to be different. And you're there, seated, creating categories, color coding columns, and then you just feel productive for like 20 minutes before life happens. Well, I'm not saying you should do away with budgeting. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it works hand in hand with building extra sources of income. Okay? Otherwise, if you just do budgeting alone, you'll stay stuck in the same place for a very long time. And right now, you see, especially in Kenya, prices of everything keep increasing. We are walking on thin ice. Anything happens and you have to chuck money out of your pockets, money that you had not even budgeted, and it's something that you have to do. Imagine, for instance, you're driving on Thika Highway and you speed without knowing, and then you're told to pay a fine of 10,000 Kenya shillings. This is something you had not budgeted. Do you know how bad this throws you off financially? So you will always be walking on eggshells. And that's why I say, even if you're on a tight budget, it doesn't really help. The only thing that can help you and place you in and put you in a safer place is having extra sources of income. Okay? Having other ways that you make money. Stop being dependent on one source of income or two. Because sometimes one can jam, and the other one, when you think you can rely on it, it can jam also. I've experienced that. So having multiple is the right way to go, or is the right way to do it. Let's face it, reality always destroys rigid plans. For example, as we speak, as I make this video, I really need a new phone because my old phone is just dying slowly. Yeah? Unfortunately, it's not even on my budget. Now, it died on me like it just happened. I didn't. It just destroys rigid plans. I had an exact plan, and you see now how this catches me off guard. And I thought I could buy more time, you know. But as I said, reality is here to destroy rigid plans, and that explains a bill showing up that you didn't see coming. That explains a relative calling you asking you for money. Someone somewhere needs money. That explains that example I've given you. You're driving on the highway, you're given a ticket, you're supposed to pay a fine of 10,000 Kenya shillings. You are not prepared for. That's just the sad reality of life. And suddenly, that budget you had suddenly start looking like a suggestion written to you by a stranger. Because it stops making sense. A budget only works when you follow it like step by step. The moment you skip or you do something different, then the budget just doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. So yes, sometimes discipline isn't the problem. You might be extremely disciplined, but emergencies pop up. Okay? You might be disciplined when it comes to budgeting, but things just show up. That doesn't make you a bad person when it comes to finances. Like I said, I thought my problem was willpower, only for me to realize much later that it wasn't. The reason budgeting failed me was because budgeting focuses only on spending, how you spend that money. When in reality, my problem was inconsistent income or not having enough sources of income. I came to realize that optimizing scarcity was just me building myself or digging myself a deeper trap. My budget wasn't broken. It's just that my strategy was incomplete. So, you can't go out there and be budgeting and you don't have any other strategy. You'll never grow. You'll always be stagnant. And when it comes to finances and building wealth and making more money, that's about growth. Okay? We need to break cycles. So, budget, but have another system in place. Okay? As much as you have multiple sources of income, you still need to budget. Okay? Budget whatever it is that you have, then find something else, and then still budget for it. And while you're here, check out my Burnout Budgeter, the monthly reboot system, because I created it for people who are tired of starting over every month so that they can finally manage money without feeling punished for their own finances. So, I'm going to leave you with this. Budgeting didn't change my finances, and it won't change yours either. Building systems and more sources of income did. Okay? And of course, if it worked for me, it will also work for you. If you're exhausted of constantly restarting, budgeting, and doing those things that don't work, take a look at my Burnout Budgeter. Okay? It's your monthly reboot system designed for you to make practical money system so that you stop managing financial chaos and start building actual progress. We are no longer staying in cycles. And if you're out there and you've ever made a budget on Monday and ignored it on a Thursday, please drop a thumbs up on the comment section. I promise you, you're in very good company. Well, that's it for us today. Like I said, I don't mean for you to stop budgeting. I didn't stop budgeting either. Just build better, greater systems that will help you financially from one step to the next. When it comes to finances, apparently one system doesn't work. You need to have like 4 or 5 systems that are working together so you're able to grow. Okay? One system helps you go from point A to point B, the next system B to C, the next system C to D, and so on and so forth. Let's stop relying on one thing and expecting greatness, because it didn't work for me. I hope you learn from me. Okay? Don't wait until it happens to you. Don't wait until you've lost time. Don't wait until you learn from your own mistake and you waste a lot of time that you can't really, time you can't recover. Until that's when now you realize, oh, what Koi was saying is true. Don't do that. Okay? So, that's it for us today. I hope this helps someone. Yeah? Well, I'm Miss Muitati, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.